Okay.
What is going on?
We are live in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
All right, cool. Cool. Very good. We're good now. All right, hey, you guys, thanks so much for just taking the time. I'll take care of the introductions by myself via your biography on your website and stuff like that.
Okay.
But this is kind of a different podcast episode I'm going to be doing. I'm trying to tackle this question of how do you get named actors into your films, and then how to work with SAG, if you indeed work with SAG, in terms of working with them.
Okay.
And then maybe talk a little bit, I might get into a little bit about your experience working with having your films on Amazon.
Okay.
And that'd be kind of cool, if you guys are down with that.
For
yeah,
sure,
I'm down. I love that.
Cool. So because this will be audio, what we'll do is have Jake and then Brian, just so that people know each other's voices, so they know who's talking. So if you, go ahead, Jake, why don't you introduce yourself so people hear your voice and they can associate your voice to your name.
What's going on, guys? I'm Jake Jalbert with Jalbert Brothers. I am a producer, director, and DP.
Awesome. And then Brian?
What's going on, guys? I'm Brian Jalbert, producer, director, jack of all trades, master of none.
All right, so now that you guys hear their voices, if you're listening to the audio version, you can differentiate between Jake and Brian. So I know that, like I said, I handled the intro before we got into this part, but I want to just jump into what advice do you guys give to other filmmakers when they're trying to find somewhat named talent to join their production? Was there a method to your madness to get at least sort of actors that people are like, hey, that guy looks familiar, or they have credits, they've been in bigger films or whatnot like that. But I just would like to hear your perspective on that.
So there's a couple things. It depends on your budget, too. So if you're on a smaller budget, the biggest thing I can say is you have to build up relationships. That is the biggest key. So you can't randomly call their agent. You can't call their manager. You're not going to get anywhere with that unless you've got money to talk. You know what I'm saying? So in case in point, like Michael Milhoen, which we worked with on 10 Seconds to Run project we did, we were introduced to him by a friend that we work with. Okay, his name is Randall Speakman. He was an executive producer on our first movie we did, House Guest. Okay, so we met Randy. His lawyer happened to know Michael. So the weird thing is Randy, I guess, was talking to his lawyer about the premiere we did for House Guest. He said, well, I got a friend you should meet. He's in the industry. His name is Michael. So Randy said, yeah, let's set it up. Ended up meeting him. Randy ended up introducing us to him. So it's just little connections that lead to that. And then once you meet them, don't start asking for things. Don't start, kind of with your hand out. You know what I'm saying? The one thing we try to say is offer value first. Build up the relationship. Be genuine. Be honest. Don't be, as you could say, like a snake in the grass to where you're just trying to get something from them. Because not everybody's going to respond to that. Not every actor's going to say, oh, yeah, I'll help you out.
Because, if you guys don't know who Michael Milhoen is, he worked in the business for 20 years, done films like
Tin Cup,
Field of Dreams, Phenomenon. And we would meet with him, and he would always, we'd spend, 20 minutes with him?
Yes.
Now he'll spend, an hour with us just chatting because we built that relationship over time. Yeah. Now we can reach out to him and say, hey, we would love to have you on this project. And he's like, I'm there. Because he knows us, and people invest in people they like and they trust, first off. Like Brian would say, if you cold call someone's agent, they're going to be like, okay, I want, 20 grand for this, 30 grand. It's much harder.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the same way we got, Alex Vincent, a child star in our first film.
Yeah, we actually met him off of Craigslist.
Yeah, which was super weird.
Yeah.
And originally he wasn't going to he was just going to write the film. He wasn't going to star in it, but we kind of pushed him.
We were like, come on, dude, you got to play this part.
We kind of talked him into it.
But the thing with Alex at the time, he needed a little cash. So it's finding out what the person needs at the time, too. What are their goals? What are they looking for? Are they having a tough time financially? Do they need a little cash? In the case with Michael was retired at the time.
He wanted to help out young guys, I think, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really a money issue with him. And then we've met people where we built a little relationship and it really doesn't go anywhere on that aspect to where, you know, they don't come on. But key is building relationships, period. Whatever way you can do that, whether you reach out to them on Facebook. It even worked with on a movie that we worked on. I'm going to kind of jump to Apple of My Eye with Burt Reynolds and stuff and Amy Smart. Yeah. I was kind of a hired gun on that, but the reason I got that is because I built up a relationship with the producer, the main producer on it. And originally, she was just looking for an AD. So I came on as an AD to AD the project, which didn't have much experience at that. I just started learning and doing. We're very type of people that preach hands-on. Go do it, figure it out, commit, and then kind of figure it out later because you will figure it out. So in the case with Dory, it took me 2 years to build up a relationship with her to where she asked me for some advice or, you know, hey, do you know any first ADs? She asked me, and immediately I was like, yeah, I'll do it, you know. And then I was like, man, I really want to be a producer on this, you know. So I reached out to her and I just said, hey, what do I got to do to be a producer on this? And she gave me a big list, and I just started executing them, and you know, and it was a lot of work, but it was, in my opinion, it was really worth it in the long run, you know.
That is fantastic. I think some of the things we could take away from this, from your experience, is one, you just asked, you know, like you saw an opportunity and you just made the ask, and she said, well, if you want to, here it is. And then you execute it. So there's the ask and execution and the follow-through. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about your relationships with these particular actors that you meet, and based off your motivational speech, the video that I'll make sure people get linked to, is I can see where it's the small steps. Like you made these films, but you know, Michael, I'm assuming, has connections with maybe larger name actors or things like that you can build upon. I think it's really fascinating what you guys have done because this is a great entryway for a lot of filmmakers, what I call like super independent filmmakers that are like, you know, they have the gear, they have a little bit of money they can raise. Instead of trying to jump towards like the super A-lister, you know, they can build up that rapport over projects, you know, earning the trust, like you said, know, like, and trust, and then that relationship. So that's what I can you know, take away, or I think other filmmakers could take away from your experience to learn from, to apply to their own journey and moving forward. Is there anything else? I'm assuming. Well, what's the next project you guys got in the works? That is the small steps that you're taking? Are they going a little bit bigger? If you want to share anything like that with us? Yeah,
I mean, one of the biggest things we try to teach too is really expand. But I want to go to the next project we just shot. And the reason we did this on a really small budget, okay? Mm-hmm. And the other movies we did were more learning curves, you know? Like everyone got better and better. Of course, I was a hired gun on Apple of My Eye, which is really good quality, great people, great talent, SAG, all that crap. But we took it back a little bit. Because what we wanted to do is, because we're getting beat up a little bit about this, because we preach about kind of not going to film school and learning by doing and taking the steps. The movie alone we just shot, a feature film we shot that on a $2,000 budget, okay? But it looks like a $100,000 film. So what we're trying to get across to people is if you build up the skills and you build up the knowledge
and the relationships
that you can do something on a really high quality because of the gear we have nowadays on a really small budget and still pay people. And you know, because people will say, oh, you're taking advantage. And it's like, no, you find people with the same beliefs and passion as you, you know, because we're not big believers in like taking an investor's money and then hoping Sundance picks it up and you don't have a game plan for it. That's great, but you need a game plan. You need an understanding of what are we going to do with this to get our investors' money back, because we're never going to be able to make a movie again on this type of budget because we just blew our whole wad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you You said you made the newest film for $2,000, and I'm assuming that you had acquired, Jake, you had acquired gear since you're shooting these films. So now you had that was an expense you didn't have to pay, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
and
we're not tacking that in. Yeah, we're not tacking in the gear we had. So we have camera cranes from when we first started, but that's building up to we bought like a dolly. We shot it on the Blackmagic 4K, which wasn't ours. We did a barter deal on that. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of deal. And we kind of just wanted to prove a point. Like, I've been building my skills as a DP for the last 6 years. So with the right skills, see, our thing is start with a camera that's not very good. You don't need the red. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love what you did with the Cube, because we definitely did our research on you. We love your stuff. That's how we found you.
Yeah.
And you went out and you did it. Like, you didn't need the red. You didn't need all that shit. You don't need it. You went and shot a movie. Okay, now it's like the next step. What's the next step? And it led you to where what you're doing now, which is amazing.
Yeah. Building a brand and building an audience. I think that's where filmmakers need to start thinking now along those lines, because
it's more than just the film. A film is like a piece of real estate. It's a little piece of real estate, man, and you gotta grow on.
But to take it back, we did have the gear. We built that stuff up. But at the same time, we were making money on that gear, too, by doing commercial works and things like that. So, like you said, as an uber independent filmmaker, those are some of the things you need to think about. But with each film, we try to expand in some way, whether it's talent, quality, or all of the above. You know what I mean? So each one's got to get bigger and better, and you've got to grow. And if you do a $3,000 film, and then you do another $3,000 film, and another $3,000 film, and they're not getting better, something's wrong. I feel like they're missing something, or something needs to be tweaked to get better audio, or to get better visuals, or to get better talent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hold on for a second. There was like weird digital distortion. I think it's corrected now.
Okay.
But I definitely got that.
Okay.
I think your audio sounds good now. Okay. Yeah, totally. I'm all down for that. Tell me about your. I'm curious about your experience with putting your films up onto Amazon.
Okay.
And just sort of run me through that experience, and what you learned from it, or what would you do differently as you approach the next film, and so on.
I really love what Amazon is doing. The initial project, House Guest, I put on, I think it was Create Space at the time.
Right.
And I really didn't get much from it. There was really not much coming through. And just recently, they switched over to
Amazon Prime?
Well, not Amazon Prime. It's Amazon Prime, but it's called Amazon Video Direct. So anybody out there listening, you can put your movies on there. You can get them captioned. Okay, you're going to need to get them captioned, so you got to go to rev.com. You can get them for $1. I think it's like $1 a minute that they write everything out. You give your captions. And then as far as getting it on there, you got to have the video files a certain way. I forget the coding that you got to use, but you have the videos as files a certain way. You got to have the pictures at a certain resolution and a certain dimensions that you're going to need, which if you go on there, you can do your research and figure it out. But when it was in Create Space, I really didn't do much. And a friend told me about it, and he was like, hey, check out, you can put your movie on there. And he said he was making like $100 a month. And I'm like, I said, let me check this out. Let me see. Because if you make a movie on a small enough budget, you can do a premiere, make, $3,000 on a premiere, $2,000 to $3,000 on a premiere by getting sponsors, by selling tickets, by putting on a big show instead of taking to a film festival where you get nothing. And then you can go put your movie online and you start making money, and now it's a piece of real estate. So he told me about it. I went on it. I think I made $100 for the year, and I'm like, what the heck's going on, right? So when they transferred over to video on demand, it was Amazon Video Direct, I clicked, I got it re-uploaded, and for some reason, now I started making actually I think it was like a few $100 a month. And I'm like, okay. I said, that's what's going on here, And it started to hit me, because what we've been doing now is we've been distributing other films for other filmmakers as well. So the ones that don't know how to do it, we help them out by getting it online, putting up the marketing, putting up
new cover art,
any redesigns, anything like that. We put it online, and then we split profits with them because we put the front end instead of charging them a fee. It's kind of our little model that we're doing. But if you got a horror movie, or you got right now the best genre in my opinion to make money back is horror thriller, and you can make a few $100 a month off of that.
Nice.
And that's only one platform too.
That's one platform. That's not Hulu, that's not iTunes, it's not any of that. So I think it's the new way of thinking because it's taking you directly to the consumer. So instead of going through a distributor or going through a middleman, you go directly to the audience, and you can market directly towards your audience through social media marketing, any of that type of stuff.
So how would you, what do you think in terms of your experience would you need to do to level up the profit margin? If you're going to add to Amazon Video Direct, like say your next project, have you experienced anything or seen anything where you can see how other films are like, oh, they must be making this much more money?
I would say either you expand, get more movies. That's
okay,
what we're doing.
Let's play the volume.
More volume control. I did the math. If you get 200 movies, right? Right now we have about 8 distributed underneath us. If you get 200 movies, you can distribute those online. Of course, you're going to have to put money in on the front end. You're going to have to pay some money, but you can be making around $240,000 a year.
I heard someone say, J.J. Abrams said this. It's the best time right now to start to be a studio, and we ultimately want to be the next Warner Brothers, which is Jalbert Brothers.
Yeah.
So that's our ultimate goal. That's why we are distributing films and helping filmmakers that wouldn't necessarily have a shot and giving them a shot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And obviously, the better the film is, the more money it will make because people will share it. You'll get better reviews.
Look at it this way too. So we're doing a TV show right now called Haunted Tours, and we're shooting 6 episodes. Right? We're gonna get it on Netflix, and we're gonna get it on Amazon Prime. And people got to start thinking like this. You don't need a television network anymore because Amazon and Netflix are the television networks. There's more eyeballs on there than anywhere. So if you create a fan base, right, you create a marketing campaign, you can directly target them towards, like we're going to do on Haunted Tours, that show, to where Netflix pays you a licensing fee. So if they like your project, they're going to pay you X amount of dollars to license it for the year. If it does good, they'll re-up it. Amazon Prime, you can just throw it on there, put the money behind it for the caption, the covers, the marketing expense as far as putting money into reaching your target market on, social media like Facebook and things like that with your audience and, emails and things like that. And you can start making money back, and you can start building. What we like to do is bootstrapping it from the ground up. And really starting with that solid foundation and then building on top of that.
Right. I'll be remiss to ask, so do you have, I understand with Amazon Video Direct, be able to launch the series that way, directly. Do you have already established relationships with Netflix that when you finish the show that you'll, what is your strategy to get it onto Netflix? Are you working with a broker, a aggregator? Because I know filmmakers might be listening to this and going, oh, wait, how are they going to do that?
Yeah.
So just if you expound upon that.
So Netflix is getting really tight with their content too. So they're being very careful picky about what they release now because they're ultimately becoming that studio now. They're gonna take out the big guys.
Oh yeah,
Amazon and those guys are. So for that, I go through an aggregator right now. I haven't built up the relationship with those guys yet. Actually, we're getting ready to move out to LA or start back and forth a little bit because we're going to start building up more partnerships out there because that's like the hub for the big people. So if you really want to play in that pond, we're going to be going out there and building those relationships and building that up. But as of right now, I'd have to go through an aggregator to get on Netflix and stuff like that.
Which one have you decided? Which one?
I was going to go with Jason Burbaker and those guys from I think it's Distributor or something like that. Distributor, got it.
Distributor,
okay. Yeah. They seem really
good
cool.
Friends with Jason, so.
Yeah, and I spoke with him a couple of times. Seems like a cool guy. So we're going to go through them. They seem like they got good relationships. And I mean, the quality's there. Like I said, we built up our skills enough to where the quality's there, the content's there. Of course, Netflix ain't going to pick something up that looks like complete trash. So you got to be definitely picky about what you do. And like we said, expand with each one. You know, I don't know if you've seen the end of the talk, but when we talk about, you know, you get your first one done, now just expand it out in one way. Whether it's you get more money, you get bigger talent, you get better quality, and then you keep doing that with each one, and you're just going to build such a solid foundation, I feel.
Right. And as I wrap up here, because I have to wrap up here, but I want to make sure that where people can find you, that you guys just wrote a book. Is that correct?
Yes, an ebook.
Give me an idea of what that is and sort of a little pitch, and then where people can find it.
You know, tell them about
it's pretty much, it's on Amazon Kindle right now. It's a 22-page ebook. It's the 7 steps that pretty much took us from high school dropouts to working with A-list actors. And throughout that journey, there's 7 really key things that we figured out that worked for us and really helped us. Is there some spelling and some grammar issues in the book? Yes. We left that in there for a reason, to show that we're high school dropouts. If we can write a book, you guys can write a book. Or if we can make a movie, you guys can go make a movie. And that's why we left that in there. So if people are going to write bad reviews on that, that's fine. It is what it is. But
yeah, and I think the key is, too, with the reason we did the book is because we're trying to help people out in a way so they understand that this is a progression, right? It's not about just being a filmmaker nowadays. It's being more than a filmmaker. It's understanding sales. It's understanding marketing and branding. It's understanding even, you know, keeping good habits every day. You know, what are you doing every day to better yourself? It's building something that people can't take away, you know, and not waiting for somebody to, here you go, here's your money, here's your, you know, your ticket to Hollywood. Make your own ticket. You know?
Yeah, because things are changing, and I know you understand that. Hollywood is not what it used to be. Things are changing. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, you just have to do different. You really got to go around the building. You can't go. Everyone's trying to go through the front door. You got to find a way around the back. But once you get in, you'll be in.
Yeah,
and that's what we're trying to do. It's not like, let me hope, you know, like the Quentin Tarantinos and Robert Rodriguez and all those guys, they were a different era, and people still like, oh, I'm gonna be like Rocky, and like there's people are making it different. There's YouTube stars now. There's Film Trooper. You know what I'm saying? There's different things happening, and that's the way you got to look at it. You really got to think outside the box now, because things are changing. The internet's it's a whole different game. Yeah, and that's just how we feel about it.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you one last question. It's just like, where do you think your hustle comes from, and can you teach hustle? Because that is like a major missing ingredient. So I want to know what your thoughts are on hustle.
You know what? I want to talk a little bit about this because it's important. Like, our background, like, I think it was instilled in us. We really didn't have a mother around. My father raised us. My mother was an alcoholic. I think that has something to do with it, because I feel like I'm trying to prove something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I was raised to work really hard. Like, I was pushing wheelbarrows of concrete around a backyard of a house, you know, for 2 hours at a time for my father. You know, I was digging ditches, and I was chopping roots. And I think...
What was Jake doing?
He was sleeping.
I was passed out. No, you know what? Brian had dropped out first in 9th grade. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I enjoy this. I'm going to stay. So I made it to 10th grade, and then I'm like, I don't like this either. So I quit, and I did the same. I followed his footsteps, honestly, as a big brother. As being the little brother, I followed the big brother's steps and said, I'm going to do this too. So I think he always had way more hustle than me, but I've developed it over time. And I think it can be developed, but you have to, like anything else, like you say, we push wheelbarrows. We already have that instilled. We did karate at a young age. We did wrestling. We did music for 10 years. So we were in like the music industry. It's just like the film industry. It sucks. So you have to really have the hustle. And like we kind of talk in our book, you just get more obsessed every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, we started reading. So if you're reading a book a month for 3 months, start reading 2 books a month. Then start reading a book a week. And then start reading a book a day. Like, just keep... It doesn't happen overnight. Like working out. Yeah. You just want to build the momentum. So slowly build the momentum. If you're making, you know, 1 film a year, next year make 2 films, then make 3 films. So it can be taught. It has to be... Like,
Jake always had more finesse than me too.
Yeah,
that was where Jake comes in. He's the more finesse guy.
Yeah,
he thinks about things a little bit more.
You know, he'll push a wheelbarrow, and I'll figure out how to get it around there without being pushed, kind of. So I think that's why we work well together. So I'm more, you know, obviously, like I'll see the guitars in the back, which are great. So I'm learning like how to play guitar and things like that. So yeah, I mean,
hustle can be learned. And I think it can be developed. I think some people are built that way because, like, there's a lot of times I feel like I'm not doing enough. You know what I mean? And Jake, you know, it's like you want to keep trying to do more. Like, it's almost like a game. Like, how can we, you know, win this game? Like, how can we, you know, work with this person? Or how can we, you know, go to Hollywood? And, you know, how can we work mobile? You know, like right now we got a social media company called Social Aid where we help businesses and grow and things like that. So it's one of those things where we can do from anywhere. So it's understanding how can you get mobile, how can you do what you love every day, and then having that why. I think a why is important for hustle. I've got 4 kids as well, so that helps. But having that why am I doing this? And that'll keep you motivated, and that will keep the hustle going.
And have it so big, like we want to be the next Warner Brothers. So have almost like an unreachable goal. That you probably won't get in your lifetime, but then that keeps you moving.
Yeah.
There's what's that saying that when you reach for the stars, you may not come up with you know, a handful of stars, but you won't be coming up with a handful of mud either.
Right.
Exactly.
You know,
you'll land in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. At least trying. You guys, I got to jam, but I really appreciate the time and the insight. And when I wrap this all up, you might see editing because it's going to be a little bit of a different episode because I'm interviewing other people as well.
Okay.
So, but I'll make sure people have a way to see what you guys are doing and direct people to what the book and the work you're doing. So.
Cool. Hey,
I look forward to hearing how it goes when you guys get out to Los Angeles.
Thanks, bro. Thank you, man. And we are the Jalbert Brothers, and we are the not fucking around crew. We say that people might be offended by it, but it keeps us going. It keeps us like you can't mess around in this industry. So that's just something to think about as well.
Thanks for your time, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Peace
All
out,
right.
man.
I'll follow up with you in a bit.
All right, man.
We are out.